rushing to the table, right? Seems like that's how Mondays are always. Rush, 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 rush. Is there not a day that you don't rush? Or is there a day that you don't rush? Maybe that's the better way to ask that question. A day where you just ease your way to the table. I haven't found that day yet. But I wonder if I would know what to do if I didn't rush to the table, if I didn't have to rush to do everything I'm doing. Good morning, Stacy Renee. How are you doing, Stacy? How are you doing this bright, bright Monday morning? The sun is not shining here, but it's still a bright day. It's no sunshine. Ain't no sunshine when you're gone. Y'all know I can't sing. You know I can't sing. Good morning, Susanna. Good morning. Susanna, I need you to plan us a trip to Switzerland. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I look forward to our trip to Switzerland. Beautiful, beautiful. Do you ski, Susanna? Oh, and I need you to take better care of your foot. I mean, it's a whole ankle foot thing going on at this table. Everybody's getting hurt with the ankle foot. Ankles, feet, toes. Oh, what are we doing to ourselves? What are we doing to ourselves? Good morning, Pam. Good morning, Pam. I'm good, and you? My energy is good. You know what? My energy is good this morning. My son came. He's like, "Ma, it's 12:01. You're supposed to be at the tea time table." I'm like, "No, you're not. No, I'm not. You're kidding. You're joking. It's not 12 o'clock yet." I ran and saw that it was 12:01. Oh. Good morning, Pam, Pam, Pam. I feel good this morning. I didn't get very much sleep last night because I accepted a challenge. I accepted. It's an initiation. Yes, it's initiation to the tea time table. That's right. If you don't hurt your foot, you're not fully in the group yet. If you don't hurt your foot or your ankle, you are not fully in. So I'm sorry, Stacy. Your time is coming. I'm not going to wish that on you. I'm just kidding. All right. So I accepted a challenge. And now this is the thing. Did somebody really challenge me? It's like saying my word is my bond. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I don't need to say, I promise you I'm going to do it. If I say something, that is in and of itself a promise, right? So when someone says, "Oh, I wish I could have," well, I hear that as challenge, Kai, make it happen. Someone calls me and says, "Hey, I was wondering blah, blah, blah," or "I was thinking about blah, 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 blah." Wait, Stacy, you already had your foot. What happened to your foot? Good morning, Tobiah. Somebody started this initiation, not me. I didn't start it. I followed suit, but I didn't start it. But people call me and talk to me and say, "Hey, I'm thinking about this. I'm looking for this." And next thing you know, I'm looking for it for them and I'm sending people information, right? So everything is a challenge. So what's the challenge that I accepted? Somebody at our tea time table, I was waiting for her late ASS to get to the table, but she's not here yet. So she's going to miss my presentation. Y'all remember that some certain person, some certain tea timer said, "Oh, I wonder." She probably didn't sound like this, because she has an accent and I don't have her accent. I told you. Oh, yes, 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 you're right. You're right. Good morning, T. Good morning, T. Where have you been all of our lives? How are you, T? How is Stace doing? We miss you guys at the table. I know you guys are doing your thing, and I know this time doesn't work so beautifully for you, but just know that you always have a place at the table, and we're always happy when you are able to join us. Yay, T in the house. Anyway, some certain person with an accent who loves wata, good morning, Karen, was saying how she wanted to have a scarf, a black, red, and green scarf. Oh, it would be so great if I could have it by the 30th. And what did I hear? What did I hear? I heard challenge. That's what I heard. Pow! The scarf is done, y'all. The scarf is done, y'all. I finished. I finished. I finished. Yay! It's got little puff balls on the end. You know, I feel like it needs to have a little something that says Black Lives Matter right there, right? I feel like that's what needs to happen. Look, I'm trying to get it on my face right. So you can pull it up, wrap it around. Look, I can't see what I'm doing. Anyway, y'all get the point. The scarf is done, people. Yes, challenge. We are fine. I'm locked out of my workstation, so I'm able to get a little tea time. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic tea. Well, you know what? I'm glad you locked out. I'm glad you're locked out. Anyway, guys, so I feel, and I sat there and I'm like, why is it that you have to take everything as a challenge? Why does everything have to be a challenge? Thank you, Karen. Thank you. And it's not a negative challenge for me. It's like, oh, let me see if I can get this done. Let me see what I can do. Thank you, Susanna. Let me see. What can I get this? Can I whip it? Let me see how fast I can whip this up. So I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning whipping up a scarf. And this is the problem. Perfection. Perfection. Thank you, T. Thank you, T. Perfection. Why do we have to be so dang on perfect? I had this scarf 5 minutes away from being done yesterday. 5 minutes away from being done. And then I looked at it and I was like, why does this red, because I did the red section last, why does this red section look thinner than the black section? And I'm counting my little rows, my columns. That's what I'm going to call them. That's not necessarily what they're actually called. But I'm counting it. I'm like, I had somehow decreased the size of the scarf. Now, I could have finished it, take the rest of the 5 minutes and been done. And most people would not have recognized it. You would have looked at the scarf, you would have been like, oh, that's a nice scarf. How many of you are, when you see someone in a scarf, you're going to walk up to them and start counting columns? How many of you are going to actually start counting the stitches, looking intricately at the stitches, and let's see, are there any little minor imperfections? Who does that? Oh, Suli, you missed the scarf, honey. You missed the scarf. I'm not even going to wrap it back around because you were late. You were late, Suli. Who does that? Who does that? I do it. Why do we have to strive for perfection? Why? My sister says to me, and we've talked about this at the table before. My sisters, I'm going to wrap it around for you one more time, Suli, because I know you're late. I don't know how much you actually saw, but this is, and then the boy was trying to steal your scarf, Suli. He was like, oh, Mom, I'm keeping this. I'll buy it from you. I'll buy it from you, Mom. I was like, no, you can't have this scarf. And like the little puff balls. I love my little puff balls. I like the scarf with the little puff balls. Anyway. My sister says that one of the reasons that her daughter has a hard time finishing things, or not finishing things, not finishing everything, but like finishing crafts, getting into crafts, right? Get baking and things like that, is because she has to have everything so perfect. And I'm like, that's me too. I was 5 minutes away from finishing. And I had all of this red done and saw that I had, decreased in size. And I ripped apart that whole section at 1 o'clock in the morning. I was ripping this apart. Like, no, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. First of all, this knitting ain't a gift. Suli buying this sucker. Hold on. We ain't gifting away this hard work. I love you, Suli, but we ain't gifting away all this hard work over and over again. But yes, you're right. You're right, Karen. And the other thing, so the interesting thing, if it were a gift, if it were something that I was just making and sending to Suli as a gift, maybe I would not have cared so much about perfection. But you present your best self to people. You sell your best self, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's with your crafting. You don't half-ass do anything that you are doing for someone else. Oh, Suli, I know you knew. Karen said that that my knitting is a gift, and I was just correcting Karen. Because Karen crochets, and I think Karen doesn't make things for other people. But look, if someone will pay me for my craft, that's fantastic, because I will craft all day long. It's better to let somebody else pay for it than for it to all come out of my pocket. Right? And to craft for people who appreciate it, that's the key. To craft for people who appreciate it. And when I went to the store, Suli said that she wanted black, green, and red. And you go and you get there's all kinds of different colors of black, green, and red. Well, black is black, but there's all kinds of different reds and all kinds of different greens. And I'm standing there and I'm thinking, well, what would she want? What black, green, and red? And at the store, good morning, Chelsea Wellesley. At the store, at the store that I was in, there was no Wi-Fi because it's underground. So I couldn't pull up the flag and just be reminded of the colors. And so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the yarn and I'm like, I'm thinking of Suli, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get this plain black, red, and green. And it's a different color green. I actually now comparing it to this, I actually don't like that other green as much as I like this green. But all right, I'm gonna get this other as a backup. But I think Suli is a shimmery girl. I think Suli can rock the shine. And I sent Suli the pictures and told her, these are your yarn choices. This one or this one. And surely she chose the rock the shine one, right? But it's so funny. As I was putting this scarf together, it was not anything I would want. I'm like, okay, well, she wanted this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love black, red, and green for what it represents. Red, black, and green for what it represents, right? Black is in the middle. Black is in the middle. Red, black, and green. I did look that up. I love it. I love it for what it represents, but I'm not rocking the red, black, and green, or green, black, and red. I'm not rocking that, right? So as I'm knitting it, I'm like, well, she asked for it. I hope she likes it. Well, she asked for it. I hope she likes it. And then when I got to the part where I was adding the red, it came together for me, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. I think I have to make something like this for myself. When you do something so well that you want to keep it for yourself, you know you are doing it right. It's not about producing a quality that Suli would appreciate, although she's a customer and it's important that she appreciates it. But my standards are higher than anybody's. So I need to meet my standards. When you're writing, I remember my son, when he was in 8th grade, he wrote a paper and he said his teacher, I read his paper and I'm like, what is this? The oldest boy, what is this? He's like, well, the teacher likes it. The teacher said it was okay. I'm like, your teacher's standards are not as high as my standards. We are not writing to the teacher's standards then. We're writing to better standards than that. We are writing to the standard that will put you ahead in this world, not what your teacher says is okay. We are not settling for okay. We're not settling for it looks all right. We're settling for, hold on. I need to tell you what we're settling for. We're settling for, wow, you finished it so fast. Love, love, love. That's the reaction that I was looking for. That's the reaction. Oh my God, I love it. That's the reaction. And as I'm knitting this, I'm like, all right, if I don't get an, oh my God, I love it, or oh my God, that's beautiful, or oh my God, that's great. If I don't get that, I know Suli's not happy. I know she doesn't like it. I'm striving for fabulous. I'm striving for. Good morning. Good afternoon, mother. Good afternoon, mother. Let me see these comments. Uh, she broke her foot low curb on Piedmont Avenue. Remember, it started with me breaking up my boat twice that year. I think breaking your foot twice that year, not your boat. I feel that way about my cooking. I take it personal when it doesn't come out right. Since I cook dishes from other countries, I have a hard time trying to figure out if it's perfect. Who wrote that? Sorry. Well, okay, Karen. And so the question is it perfect for you? That's what you finally get to. Is it perfect for you? Internal standards. You have to set your own internal standards. The standards that other people set for you will be and can be much lower. They don't expect much from you, especially being women, especially being people of color. Nobody is expecting much from you. You need to expect excellence, perfection from yourself. You need to expect it from yourself. Good, better, best. Never let them rest until the good is better and the better is best. Yeah, and I didn't rest. Oh, that's nice, Chelsea. Where did you learn that? I've heard that before. I've heard that before. Good, better, best. Never let them rest until the good is better and the better is best. I like that. I like that. I like that idea. You have to have pride in what you do. You have to have pride in how you spend your week, how you exercise, how you show up at work, how you show up in your crafting, how you show up in your cooking. You have to feel good about it. It's not about whether someone else says, oh, no, girl, that was okay. Miss Nash in high school. Oh, I like Miss Nash. Our topic is good morning. Our topic is, I couldn't think of the topic, Suli. I didn't have a topic before I sat down today. However, our topic really is about putting your best foot forward. Let's collectively decide that that's what we're talking about today. Setting your own standard and living up to your own standard. And what kind of standard do you want to set for yourself? Do you want to set a standard that says, well, if it's messed up, that's all right, whatever, I can still use it. If you missed a couple of stitches in the scarf, that's okay, who cares? Nobody else is going to notice it anyway. If you didn't put your beads together the right way, nobody else is going to notice it. Right? Suli. Now we can change the subject to be talking about how impressed you are with my children, because you know what? I was impressed with my children too. They made me so proud. They made me so proud. I was so happy. I do think we should do that every year. And you know what? I love those discussions. I started having those discussions. Angela, Catrice, and Gigi Samet, I want to say her name is. I don't know if you know Gigi, but Angela and Catrice used to live together. And when they were living together, they invited some of us over to do a ballot discussion, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I was down. I definitely wanted to be a part of it. So I showed up, and that was the introduction. That was actually one of the times that I was introducing my cupcake business. So I showed up at the function, at the talk with cupcakes, and they all gave me their input, their ideas about my cupcakes, and gave me reviews of the cupcakes. They subsequently, all of them have ordered cupcakes from me. I mean, it was really just the start of a great relationship, a start of getting to know Catrice better. Catrice showed me, was teaching me some sign language at the time. It was really just a great conversation, and great to sit with others and be able to hear their perspectives about what's going on the ballot. I hope to eventually be able to do something like that in Maryland, but I'm definitely, even though I didn't vote in California, I loved being a part of that conversation. It is really just a part of being civically involved, right? Civic engagement. Etienne wanted to be a part of the conversation yesterday. Uh, I stopped him. I told him he can sit and listen, but I think he was thinking it was just a regular tea time, and so I stopped him from interjecting because he wasn't really up on the topics. And so I think next year, if he wants to be involved, I'm going to let him be involved, and I'm going to but I'm going to prepare him for having the discussion. So yeah, I think it's important for us to come together and just to discuss. And I know that our young voters um, got a lot out of it. You know, we've been doing this for a long time, but you, Suli, haven't done it, and some other people, this was their first time voting this year, and then some of our young voters, they've done it, but you know, it's helpful for them to be able to express themselves. And I was just so proud that each of them had really thought about it. Like, oh, girl, do your thing. You done raised them right. Our parents expected the best from us in everything. There was no good enough. Exactly. Parents had expectations of you. Expectations are important. But right now, it's important that we set our own expectations for ourselves, and we teach our kids. So if we're parents, we teach our kids to set high expectations for themselves, not to live up to our expectations. Of course, they need to do that too, or else they'll be on punishment, or we might have to go after them, whatever the case. But help them to understand how they need to set high standards for themselves. I just left my dentist's office, Dr. Kelson. I can't tell you how wonderfully excellent he is, a dentist, nor how much they had gone to ensure the safety and sanitary conditions of the offices so that they could not spread anything. I need to find a new dentist out here. I gotta check with your dentist, Mom. Yeah, having the different views and the personal examples, I agree. I agree. It's very helpful because we all of us interpret things our own way. So to hear someone else's interpretation and to be open, we didn't sit at this table with everybody saying, this is how I'm voting and this is how you should vote. Now, if you heard, and I know you heard, but those of you who didn't, sometimes somebody did say, okay, everybody vote no on this and let's move on. Like, yeah, but not seriously, like if you don't vote no on this, then we will cut you from this table or we will cut you, period. Right? No, there was none of that. It was like, look, this is why I say vote no on this. This is how it affects me. This is how it affects this community. This is how it could, or this is what I understand it to do, or this is how I understand it to affect us. Does anybody else understand it differently? Just to be open. I loved it. I was full yesterday. I was full with my crafting. I was full with, and to be able to inspire others. You set expectations for yourself. You set standards for yourself. The standards of civic engagement, the standards of open communication, the standards of excellence, the standards of don't rest until good is better and better is best. I like that. That standards of best. Your best is not my best. My best is not Chelsea's best or Tobias' best. Our best is individually our best. And so you are striving towards your best, not your mama's best or your daddy's best or what someone else told you that you should do. What their best is, you're striving towards your best. And if I know that as I'm putting together this scarf, my best was not a red section missing 2 columns. That wasn't my best. Especially when my eyes immediately go to the little mistake. Immediately. That's not my best. It's midnight, but that's not my best. But Suli wanted this by the 30th, and I accepted that challenge. Now, understand that if y'all call me up talking about I need a scarf tomorrow, y'all SOL, okay? Understand that if I could not get it done, by the time that Suli said it would be nice if I had it by the 30th. I did not take Suli's it would be nice if I could have it by the 30th. I didn't take that to mean I have to have it by the 30th or I don't want it. That's not how I took that. I took that as she finally decided what her costume was going to be. No, you don't. There's no gap. There's no gap now. There was a gap. I took it apart, Suli. There was when I, okay, see, that's what happens when you're late, but I know you at work. So it's okay. You could be late. So when I was knitting it, when I attached the red to the black, I somehow decreased the size, decreased the width. So that I'm saying taking off 2 columns, but that's just to make it easier to understand. But I decreased the width, and I didn't recognize that I had decreased the width until I got to 5 minutes left. I got all of this knitted, and when I was just about done, 5 more minutes, and I would have been done. I looked at it and I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? And then I figured it out, and I'm like, and I sat with it for a minute, and I sat with, do I take it apart? Do I take it apart? And I thought about Chelsea Mack, who has started knitting, encouraged by her mom's crafting. She has started knitting. I thought about Chelsea Mack saying, it's so, what did you say, Chelsea? It's so soothing to pull it apart. It kind of is soothing to pull it apart sometimes. I thought about that. I thought about my mother saying you wouldn't be an artist if you didn't want it to be perfect. I thought about that. I thought about my other sister saying, girl, I always got mistaken everything. Just leave it. Who cares? It's fine. I thought about that. And then I thought about who I am and what's my standard. Because all the time when you're at work, you will have people half-ass doing their job. Are you going to also half-ass do your job because everybody else in the office half-ass does their job? Is that your standard? Is your standard half-ass? Are you going to half-ass parent your kids because everybody else half-ass parents their kids? Are you going to run to McDonald's? And look, when I went to work on Friday, because of the work situation, whatever, we all got gift cards for food. But the gift cards were for McDonald's or this place out here called Royal Farm. Royal Farm is like a, well, I don't know what it's like. It's like a Chelsea, Quick Trip. It's like a Quick Trip. It's a gas station convenience store that also has food in it. Like they sell fried chicken. Now, don't sleep on that fried chicken. I've actually had it. It's good. It's not necessarily where you need to be going to eat, but it does not taste bad. Anyway, so I looked at that and I'm like, I'm on a healthy eating thing. I don't eat fast food. Y'all giving us McDonald's and Royal Farm. But then I realized that Royal Farm sells gas. All right, give me the gas. I'm not going to go with the McDonald's gift certificate or the Royal Farms fried chicken because everybody else is eating there. No, I'm going to meet my standard. And just because I get something for free, it doesn't meet my standard. So we're going to have to only stay with my standard, right? Stay with your standard. And joking aside, this is what good parenting does because you instill the need for perfection. And by watching your parents teach, you learn the importance of teaching those who come after you. And that's really what it's all about. Those lessons that you talk about your parents for, but that you taught well. Yeah, I know I'm not reading that well, but I understand what you're saying. Our kids learn from us. They learn from us whether to settle for mediocre or whether to strive for perfection. If we, not just by what we tell them though, not just by what we teach them, by what we do. Not to be mad because I had to take the scarf apart. Now, see, with Christian and Chelsea, I may have been at a different level and I might have been like, oh, dang it, I got to take this scarf apart. But they're different kids and they would have been like, Mom, why are you fussing? Just take it apart. But this one, if I'm like, oh, dang it, I got to take the scarf apart, he'll be like, every time he has to do something, he'll fuss and complain. So I don't complain. And that's another thing we have to be careful about, what we complain about. I just started taking it apart. He's like, what are you going to do, Mom? You finished? I'm like, no, it's not right. So I'm going to take it apart and just redo this part peacefully. I'm just going to redo this part. And then I celebrate the success at the end. Look at my scarf. You see it? You like it? Oh, look at this. Look, Jen. Do you like the scarf? Of course, like I said, he was like, let me have that scarf. I'll buy it from you, Mama. You don't need to send it. Don't settle. Don't settle. Somebody's always watching you. Whether it's a kid watching you and trying to figure out how to shape their lives, how to live their lives, or whether it's your coworkers looking at what little you're actually putting forth, what little effort you're putting forth. Oh, well, she's not putting forth very much effort. I'm not putting forth any effort either. Somebody's always watching you. And most importantly, you are always watching yourself. Don't settle. Don't settle, regardless of whether everybody else is willing to settle. You don't settle. You don't settle. Sully, I swear, you might not get this scarf though, for real. I might have to keep this bad boy. Like, I don't know what happened, Sully. I was making you a scarf. Doing is teaching, the best way of teaching. That's right. That's right. That's right. And there is so much love and appreciation when you put your best foot forward at all times. At all times. And that's what you need to do. You need to love and appreciate yourself enough to always put your best foot forward, regardless of what everybody else is doing. If everybody else gonna jump off the Golden Gate Bridge, are you jumping too? No. So let's live this week. You put that scarf on social media and you'll get orders for days. I'm putting that scarf on Sully. I'm putting that scarf on Sully Lagi. And then Sully's gonna take a fabulous photo with that scarf. That scarf is work though. I don't know. Trust and believe that nobody else is getting it that fast though. Nobody is getting it that fast. Don't be talking about you did a scarf for Sully that fast. How come I can't have one that fast? Sully called me at the right time during the pandemic. And I love challenges. Anyway, guys, so go forth this week. Put your best foot forward, regardless of what you see, regardless of the mediocrity that is around you. Don't settle for mediocre. Don't settle for good. Don't settle until good is better, and better is best. Mrs. Nash, I like that teacher. She was a fantastic teacher. Don't settle. Put your best foot forward. Chelsea Mack, I want to see some of your crafting. Don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. Every knitting project that I've done, and I want to go back a second. I'm talking about knitting today because it's so interesting the way that Chelsea dove into knitting. She saw me knitting. That girl went. She bought a loom. She bought needles. She bought several things of yarn. And I'm like, let's talk about this first. Hold on. Don't dive in head first. But her mother dives in head first. I understand. And as I'm being counseled on my knitting and learning knitting, that it's recommended to me. Okay, don't try a full project. Just do a little patch. But that's not me. I'm not going to be satisfied. Like on Hamilton, you'll never be satisfied. I will not be satisfied just doing a whole bunch of little patches. I need a project. I'm project based. Now, I may have to pull a scarf apart 20 times to learn how to put the scarf together. But I'd rather pull a scarf apart 20 times to learn how to put a scarf together than spend 20 days working on a little patch that is nothing. And at the end of 20 days, I just have a little patch with perfect stitches, but I don't have a scarf. You have a wonderful day, Susanna. We're all about to get out of here, get our day started. Be your best, be your best, be your best this week. Wash your hands, wear your mask, keep your distance, and do not settle for good. Do not settle until good is better and better is best. Thank you for that, Chelsea Mack. Have a wonderful day, guys.